Minnie and Amber, we're both here from the digital learning team at Grantwood AA in our respective homes, clearly. And we are going to talk a little bit do a very quick tutorial about Screencastify. And the reason that we are talking about Screencastify today is that with all of the at-home learning that's going on right now, we wanted to provide some tools for teachers that we thought might be beneficial as we kind of look at how to kind of build capacity for online learning for our students. And
hey, Mindy, I gotta tell you, we have some people actually watching us.
Oh, we do. Wow. We thought maybe it's just gonna be the two of us.
Yeah, we got a hello from the music room at St. Pius, and from Leanne Groening and Beth Swans. Love all those people.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good morning. So thank you so much for commenting. If you have, as we get going, comments or questions about Screencastify, like I said, we're going to do it quick. So if you have a question, stop us and toss that into comments. Also, if you are a Screencastify user and have ideas of how you've used this either in your practice or with if your students have used it, drop that in there too for other ideas. All right.
Oh, we also got someone from Moline, Illinois. Yes.
Moline, Illinois. John Deere tractor.
That's right. Our home, kind of my hometown, kind of your hometown.
Right in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. We're still good, right?
I believe so.
I can still see the live button. Okay, so we're going to power through here. So a little bit about what Screencastify is. It is a Chrome extension. So I believe Amber is going to drop the link for this Chrome extension into the comments when she finds it, plops it in there. What a Chrome extension is, and you can kind of see up in my window here, all of these little icons. And what that means is that it kind of provides these little extra tools that get added on to my browser to make it more powerful. And so if you click on that link that Amber has put in the comments eventually, it'll take you right to the Chrome web store, and then you're just going to add it to your browser. And then it's going to show up up here, it looks like a little arrow with a video camera on it. And this all ties straight to your Google account. So you'll use your Google account to connect all of the things, which makes it really, really nice and smooth. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that yet as we get going. All right, so once I click on my Chrome extension, it gives me some different options of what to do. So it's Screencastify, which is screencasting, meaning I'm going to record my screen. It gives me some options here of what that looks like. So I can just record my browser tab, which would mean it would just record this tab that I'm showing right here. Or I could do my desktop, which is my whole computer, kind of like what you're seeing right now through Zoom. And then it also gives me the opportunity just to do my webcam. So it would just be video of me. I'm going to click just desktop now because then it shows I can record a microphone. It'll record my voice. And I can also embed a webcam. So down in the corner, it'll show video of me. And research shows that kids really do want to see your face as you're talking. So, we're all, wearing sweatpants these days. It's fine. Show your face. Your kids want to see you, especially now, because they don't get to see you much. So turn that webcam on and let your kids see you. Even if you're not wearing makeup, it's going to be fine. Okay. So once I've chosen my different options here, I'm ready to go. So I have my desktop that's going to record. It's going to record my voice, and it's also going to record a little video of myself down in the corner. And I'm ready to go. So I'm going to hit record. Okay. So, all my little tools went away. Let's try this again. Not seeing a dialogue, but no, I'm not. Okay, so then I'm going to choose my entire screen again. That's new. I don't know that I've seen that little prompt before. Where does he keep going? Can I do Screencastify and Zoom at the same time? This is the question.
fun to demo things and
Application.
have it go a completely different way.
Not sure. I'm not sure. I don't see it. I don't see my little tools.
Is it hidden under your bar on the bottom?
I don't know. Let's look and see. I have so many little things running right now. I don't see it. Okay, so I'm going to try option T because that I know that makes my little tools pop up, but it's not. I wonder if I can't do Screencastify and record at the same time on Zoom.
It's always screen on screen on screen, so.
It is. So let me try one more time here. I'm going to turn off some of these other things and just do my browser. I'm just going to try.
Kind of wondering. I just clicked on browser tab and that was able to make some things pop up.
Yes. Okay, so if you saw that quick, when it gave me a 3-second countdown with a little ding, ding, ding. And then down here in the corner, I have some annotation tools. So I can practice or play a little bit with my mouse. This little focus mouse tool makes my screen go kind of darkish, but it does spotlight then to help kind of draw attention to what I'm pointing at. I can turn that off. I can do, this is the one that I like, is the highlight clicks. So when
because it's really hard sometimes when you're demoing things, right? To get people to figure out where you're actually referencing.
Right. So I like the highlight clicks because then I can, when I'm clicking, it gives me that little orange circle too. A couple other things. I have an annotation pen here, so I can choose my colors and then draw along here to kind of point stuff out too. And then I also have an eraser. So just a couple things to play with once you're in there. Now, let's say I've done my screencasting. I've maybe done a little tutorial for my students about a website I'd like them to use, or maybe I've done some sort of instructional video and used Google Slides as my background here and talked a little bit about some different things. So let's say I'm all done with the video. I'm going to go down here. I always hit pause first, and then I think about, am I really done? Okay. Once I'm really done, I can click my little stop button down here, or maybe I want to restart it. I get done and I'm like, oh, I forgot a big chunk in there. I'm just going to do another quick one. I can restart it down.
Pause is so important. Oh my gosh. Like, you have to kind of remember where that's at, because if you feel like you're rambling, it's better to just pause.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm going to call it good. I've done a great job. I'm going to hit my little stop button. Now, remember how I said that this all ties to your Google account. So what happens is Screencastify takes that video and it starts processing it straight into your Google Drive. When you've connected your Google Drive account to Screencastify, it automatically generates a brand new folder in your Google Drive called Screencastify. So if you ever lose a video and you can't remember where it is, go in there and peruse. Because sometimes I have been known to lose a Screencastify video. And so this way, at least I know where to find it. Okay, so once I get in here, I have some different things I can do. I can make a copy of the link to share that into any Seesaw, something like that. I also have the ability to share it straight to Google Classroom, and it's going to plop it right in there for me. Changes the sharing permission so everyone can see it, does all of that one step. Super nice. I can share it straight into YouTube. I have some other options of things that I don't normally do.
Mindy, I got a quick question that came up.
Sure.
This is from Joyce, and she asked, when you pause it, can you watch what you've done so far before hitting stop? And I think that's a really good question.
It is a really good question, and the answer is no.
I know.
Right, Amber? Right?
That is what I understand as well. It is, right. You know, we got to think that this is a free product for up to 5 minutes of video recording. And so with that, we just kind of got to write it out to the 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind that 5 minutes is a short amount of time. And so that can kind of help to gauge you, or you might just say, hey, I need to stop and restart too.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I would say as well is that if you do kind of finish it up, you do have the ability, you can't add stuff in, but you do have the ability to trim stuff down. So if you see these little scissors down here, this is a newer feature within the free part of that. You can trim it so that if you made a mistake at the beginning, sometimes I start the record and I'm like, oh, I wasn't ready yet. I can kind of keep going and trim that stuff off at the beginning. So that's kind of nice to know too. So there are some editing possibilities, just not adding when you're in pause. Okay.
I think that's important to kind of like elaborate that on that a minute too.
Okay.
This is free, right? Like we're showing and demoing the free version. Screencastify does have a price point. It's $50 for a year and you get a lot more features with it.
Mm-hmm. So I think with the paid version of it, I don't know how many, I think you get as many as you want with the free version, but you do then get a longer period of time. And our team's recommendation is that you really should be making short, quick videos because you only have your students' attention, especially at home with all of the distractions going on. The attention span that you have of your students here is pretty short. So 5 minutes is really kind of that sweet spot anyway. So if you think about just doing 5 short minute mini lessons and maybe doing a couple of those, but kids can then view them as they're ready, kind of as checkpoints instead of one longer video. This 5 minutes is kind of, I think, a good guideline. Be like, oh, there's a reason they're giving me 5 minutes.
Hey, I just got another comment that said they're giving teachers free upgrades by entering cast_COVID right now.
Nice.
And so I think I had also seen on their site that some of those free upgrades will be good until like June 30th. So that can definitely get us through. And then if you decided you wanted to pay the $50, then you would have a really good trial period within there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so the other thing you can do is sharing a link, just like you probably are familiar with in Google, is sharing that link. You can also download. I do want to talk a little bit about this download though. So here if you click on download or this little arrow, it's going to give you some options. Do not just choose download here because it's a weird like web file that you're not going to like. Instead, what you're going to want to do is export as an MP4, which is going to give you a movie file. If you do, you can also do the export audio only. I don't have that option right now, but maybe I turned off my microphone too. And then also an animated GIF. So if you wanted to make a short little GIF, you need to make sure your video is much, much shorter too. So think 10 seconds. And this one is more just like a, hey, this is where you need to click, or do this step and this step to log in, or something like that, that maybe you don't need written directions for, but can just do a short little GIF to help guide students to, just really short. But you also have to record that really short too. And then if you export that, you can drop it into a Google Doc or something like that and have a little GIF inside, to help students get started on something. Okay.
So should we pause for a moment and kind of talk a little bit about how this kind of links back to some of the work we've been recently doing?
Sure.
We think that by making screencasts, that can really help to build your students' capacity for online learning. And our team has been going through and really talking about what does online learning look like. I'm going to throw a link in the chat here for some of that work to kind of get some feedback. We'd love to hear from people about what they think about this. We think this kind of goes into phase 2 where you're starting to create your own tutorials and share that out with students and kind of getting their grit going for actually watching a video to learn from. We know that everyone can just watch a video, but it does take a little bit of skill to either take notes or pull things out, and some of those things you might have to talk to about your students with.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Amber, because I wrote that down too as an idea. What teachers can be doing is a think aloud as they're watching a video, because like you said, just like we have to teach reading comprehension, it's probably something we maybe haven't thought about is that we need to teach video comprehension too. So providing some sort of support for students as they're really engaging in this video learning is probably a new concept for them, especially our younger students as well. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Another thing that I know Amber has talked about is, and I don't think you just said this, Amber, but correct me if I'm wrong, about providing feedback. So for students, so if they are submitting things, they want to see your face and they need some interaction, especially now. So using Screencastify to talk about things that they've turned on as you're kind of recording the screen, you can pull up a student, doc or project or something that they've submitted to you and talk through different feedback from them, especially for students who maybe have a hard time reading online or have a hard time reading I always think you should read with a grain of salt when you're getting feedback. So video really allows for there to be some tone involved in that feedback too, which is helpful.
Absolutely. Hey, we got another question that came in, and I would love to hear what you think about this. Teresa asked or said that they're going to link their lessons into a s'more newsletter that's going to go to students. So what would be the best format to actually link that in? Do you think it would be YouTube to send the Screencastify video to, or what do you think about it just going to Drive?
That's a really great question. I think I would just link it to Drive to take one step out. Especially I was talking with a teacher last week that was having a hard time just with her home Wi-Fi getting things uploaded into YouTube. So maybe that one last step. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I have a very different lens to it, and I think you have to think about what your comfort level is too. I'm just going to throw out there that my husband had to create some tutorial videos for his online learning experience, and he specifically told me he does not want to be a YouTube star. And so if you feel like my husband does, that you don't want to be a YouTube star, then Google Drive should definitely be the place for your video. And if you put it into Drive, you're not going to have any of the worries about commenting or likes or dislikes on your video. That was one of his fears, that someone would leave a comment, and he totally forgot to turn off comments on one of the videos that he uploaded to YouTube. And then there was a comment. So you have to, kind of go through and think about what your comfort level is for sure.
May I also throw in, and I don't, is it Teresa? Is that who you said? Teresa asked this question?
Yeah.
Teresa, I don't know how comfortable you are with Wakelet, but maybe that would be a tool that you would want to look at before you used s'more, because it has the ability to record a video straight into the Wakelet using a camera in it. So I don't know that we have a Wakelet Facebook Live coming up, but maybe that would be a good one to do soon.
It's on our list, so maybe we need to accelerate that one a little bit in our order.
And we do have a blog post about how to get started with Wakelet. Maybe Amber and I could find that. And
I'll try to drop that in the chat here.
All right. Any other questions out there? Is anybody using Screencastify with their students and have some ideas of different ways you could use it? We didn't even talk about students using Screencastify as a way to demonstrate their knowledge, or to talk about a project that they've worked on to kind of give them voice to, or some personal reflection, but that's definitely a possibility too.
I think that's an awesome idea about having students kind of share back their own little video explanations. You learn so much when students create a video, because they have to put their own voice and words to it rather than, through written language. And you hear, as we mentioned before, tone, and you hear where uncertainty might be as well. So those are some great things to kind of keep in mind.
Any other things out there? Amber, did we hit everything we wanted to hit?
I think so. The one other thing that I will say, and I'm going to add this link in as well to the chat. I just added the Wakelet link, so you can feel free to read up on that. But we will and do have that idea for a Wakelet coming, Wakelet Facebook Live coming. So keep an eye out for that. Screencastify isn't the only way that you can make screencasts. And there are some kind of other screencasting tips that you may want to keep in mind. And we have a doc for that as well, which I just threw into the chat.
Yep. So if you Screencastify, of course, has to be computer of some sort with a browser, which would not work necessarily with an iPad. But in that screencasting dock, there are some other options if you have a different type of device that you might want to use. So definitely take a look at that on top of screencasting tips that you should think about to kind of streamline your process a little bit.
Yeah. We just got a question in, and this kind of ties in directly with, I think, where we're going to go. Where is this going to be available after this live ends? So what we're going to do is we are going to be adding links to this doc. This doc also has that I'm going to add to the chat here in just a second. This doc has a schedule of all of the Facebook Lives we're going to do this week, and hopefully you guys find this helpful, and we'll continue to talk about things. Like, we got a shout out for Wakelet, so we'll try to add that into our mix as well. But we'll add a link there. It'll also go on an archive will go on our YouTube channel as well. And our YouTube channel can be found at Digital Learning Grant Wood, DLGWAEA.
Mm-hmm. Good question, though. And of course, it'll still be on our, the video itself will stay on our page here. We're just going to edit it and make it a little bit prettier too for YouTube. So you can always come back to our digital learning page as well and find it here. Well, two parts of it. It's a two-parter.
I think a big part of that, if you are joining us and you don't know who the digital learning team is, we support schools in and around the Cedar Rapids area, going all the way up from Northland down to Washington, Iowa, and as far over as Tipton, and I think Williamsburg is our other, our West school, right? And so kind of makes a giant circle, and we are here to support our schools. And so we definitely want to make sure that if you have questions about this, you can follow up with us and ask us. We would love to chat or Zoom with you guys to help get your feet on the ground as we're going into more virtual and digital environments of learning. We also had a comment here from someone that I know from Mid Prairie Days. As a former admin, he says he's used this to send info to staff for PD learning adventures. Thanks for that, Jim.
Learning adventures. I love that. PD learning adventures.
Yes, exactly. So we should give a shout out that tomorrow the digital learning team will be doing another Facebook Live event. It's going to be at 1:30 tomorrow, and it's going to be on the hot topic tool, Zoom.
Zoom me, Zoom, Zoomer.
Yes. So you can feel free to check out that schedule to see what else is coming out from our team here this week. And we'll see if we can kind of keep this train rolling to answer any questions that you guys have with your digital learning needs and questions.
Neat. Yes.
Any last thoughts about Screencastify?
No, give it a shot.
Oh, okay.
You were asking me?
I was asking you, yes.
Oh. We're ready?
We're good?
We're finishing up? Yeah?
I think so.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. And if you have more comments or questions, drop them into the comments down there, and we will definitely respond as they come in. But thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, everyone in Digital Land.